not very many people know about. And those who do, well, let's just say that their knowledge is limited, or they're not allowed to speak about it. All very top secret, huh? So this place is called Plum Island. You might be wondering, what's Plum Island? Are you sure it isn't Apricot Island? Well, Plum Island is not actually an island filled with delicious, juicy, ripe plums, or apricots either. Quite the contrary, in fact. Plum Island is a top-secret governmental scientific research lab studying horrendous diseases. These diseases are often horribly fatal to animals and possibly fatal to humans. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's talk about another important subject. Where is Plum Island? Plum Island, as you may or may not know, happens to be off the coast of New York, a mere 6 miles from Montauk, New York, and 10 miles from Lyme, Connecticut. But more on that subject later. You might be wondering, okay, so this is great, there's an island called Plum Island, but what's the big deal? Well, I'll tell you what the big deal is. This island is an animal disease research center, which is pretty much just a fancy way of saying that they create and experiment with deadly diseases on the island. Then, they infect the animals with the diseases and monitor how it affects them. Inevitably, the animals die and they bury or burn them on the island. Okay, so big deal. You're right. This is a big deal. Harboring all these fatal diseases on a small island is a very dangerous thing to do. But that's not all. They're also suspected of conducting genetic engineering on the island. Genetic engineering is when DNA of 2 or more animals is merged, thus creating a mutant or hybrid animal to serve specific purposes. Do you remember Montauk, that place that was only 6 miles from the tip of Plum Island? Well, weird, mutant animals keep on washing up on the shore of Montauk, and it seems highly probable that the animals were created on Plum Island via genetic engineering, and escaped, drowned, and washed up on the shore of Montauk. They appear as if they're a cross between a turtle, a raccoon, and a bird. See for yourself. These strange mutant animal sightings have been noted on and reported by reliable news sources such as Fox News. Montauk monster or myth? Remember Lyme, Connecticut? You know, that place that was only a mere 10 miles away from Plum Island, the dangerous animal research and disease center? Okay, so have you heard of Lyme disease? It's a horrible and crippling disease that changes one's life forever, and for the worse. Word is that it was created at Plum Island and accidentally released. Lyme disease is spread via wood tick, but we'll hear more about that later. So let's not talk conspiracy, okay? Conspiracy is interesting, but there's more to life than conspiracy. Let's talk facts. Plum Island wasn't just created as an animal disease research center, but it was created by a Nazi scientist named Erich Traub, who had formerly been the chief of the biowarfare lab during World War II. Erich Traub was an extremely powerful man and directly under Hitler, but that's beside the point. Let's talk a little bit more about biowarfare. So, what exactly is biowarfare? Well, biowarfare is the use of toxins of biological origin, or microorganisms, as weapons of war. Or basically, when a country releases a horrible disease upon its enemy in its enemy's country, thus producing a mass killing. Biowarfare is, needless to say, very dangerous, and it has been experimented with on the island. This is a little bit scary to think about. We go about our daily lives feeling safe and sound, but dangerous diseases are brewing on this small island. This is a horrible danger to society, and I'm not being dramatic when I say that. This is dangerous because documents were found. One of the 7 most wanted Al-Qaeda fugitives planning a mass casualty assault on Plum Island. Imagine what would have happened if that island would have been bombed. The diseases that would have been released into the air. The utter chaos that would have broken out amongst our country. This, surely, would have been horrible. But that's not the only reason why this is dangerous. Think about the people that work at Plum Island. Say this is Bob. And Bob works at Plum Island and lives in Connecticut. Bob comes home after a hard day's work, and he doesn't know it, but he's got dangerous germs on him. He goes home, which is fine because he has no pets, he's not allowed to. But he also goes to visit his friends. His friends have no pets either, so that happens to be fine. But he spreads the disease to their house. During the next week, his friends visit the zoo, and needless to say, all of these animals become ill and die. Now, this is just a hypothetical situation, but it could be true, because there has been complaints against Plum Island that they are not careful with the way they store dangerous diseases. Here's another fact for you. Jim McCoy was a man who worked on Plum Island, and he saw something very dangerous going on there. Biocontainment centers meant to store these harmful and potentially dangerous diseases were not doing such a great job of containing. Diseases were being released into the air, and so more than once, he witnessed scientists using duct tape in a last effort to contain these diseases. Needless to say, duct tape cannot contain viruses. Jim McCoy publicly addressed this at a meeting, and he was fired. What does this say about Plum Island and the people that run it? Is this how they deal with their mistakes? Okay, so Congressman Timothy H. Bishop is in a way responsible for Plum Island. It's in his district. And so, when interviewed about Plum Island and the diseases on the island, he claimed the diseases that are animal-born and could be spread to humans are not experimented with on the island. When asked if he knew this absolutely, he said, "I accept what I have been told." However, Dr. Roger Breeze, former director of Plum Island, said something that contradicted Congressman Bishop quite a bit. He said, "Some of the infections also infect people," and he also admitted that people bring diseases off the island. Wow, what do we have here? It looks like a contradiction to me. You know what a contradiction means, don't you? It means that someone isn't telling the truth. Interesting. So we know a little bit about Plum Island. We know that dangerous diseases are experimented with and stored on the island, but what you might not know is that Plum Island is for sale. So start saving up your allowances, kids. Or not. So what happens to these dangerous diseases once the island is sold? Are they disposed of properly? Is there really any proper way to dispose of diseases so harmful and dangerous? Food for thought, is it not? What will become of us? Will they be released in society slowly? Where will they go? Okay, so Plum Island's moving. Okay, cool. Where are they going? Where can they move something so dangerous and horrible, such as an island filled with diseases? Guess what? They're moving to Kansas. Yes, this might seem foolish, because Kansas is the heart of our country, and lots of livestock is grown there. Imagine if one of the diseases was to be released into the air, and hundreds of thousands of animals were killed. Would these animals be fed to us, or would they be burned at the expense of the farmers? And what about Dorothy and Toto and the Golden Pathway? Okay, so we don't know a lot about Plum Island, but what we do know is puzzling, and it makes for a very interesting puzzle. We know that something is up, and we know that weird things are going on every day, things that are a danger to society, and possibly harmful to us and our children and the future generations. So speak up about this, don't be afraid. What do you think about Plum Island? What do you think about the Montauk Monster, about Lyme disease, about the government hiding things from us? Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great disease-free day.